Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Football-Oranje. We're back to Netherlands duty, international duty for Abdul and I. It's talking about the Netherlands, who have a double header over this international break that's coming up. We're recording quite an early match preview podcast of the Malta game, but a double header of this international break. We've got Malta away and Finland at home. So let's get stuck in. Abdul, we've got the squad to show in this show. We're going to talk about Inter 21s a little bit about the Eredivisie at the end of the show. Look forward to it.
Of course, we are looking forward to it after the disappointment when we drew with Poland 1-1 and we barely lost points against Lithuania. So, I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see a better performance for Oranje. Hopefully, we win against Malta and Finland, of course, without any problems.
Yeah, a double header, which we should be winning. There's no doubt about it. Any drop points here is a failure. As we continue to doubt Koeman, doubt some of the squad selections. We'll get into that anyway in this show. We've been trying to keep regular weekly shows. I think, to be honest, you can hold me to it if I'm wrong. I think we've recorded a show every single week since the new season began, and that's either been on the Eredivisie, Dutch teams in Europe, or on the national team. So we'll try and keep it as long as we can. This one's out on YouTube as well as audio platforms, because, the Netherlands national team is one that people really, really do want to tune into and listen to. So this will be out on YouTube, where we've got some graphics on screen. But if you're listening via Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else, that's fine too, but you'll be able to see some of the graphics. Do give us a like if you enjoy these shows, and subscribe if you're new. Well, I think it's time to begin, really, by showing the squad selection, which is now up on screen. We've got the players here. The image that Onze Oranje put out on social media. And there's a new name. There's a new face. It's a striker.
Finally.
And his name is Max Meerdink, and he plays for AZ Alkmaar, in case you didn't know.
Yes.
But I've got to admit, this, I thought it would be in better circumstances than there's just no other choice. So we've got half fit, not really fit, Wout Weghorst, Memphis Depay in the squad. But Meerdink's been put in there as well. Should we start by talking about Max Meerdink? Because, of course, it's an exciting selection, but he's mainly been picked because Troy Parrott's been injured for AZ, and Meerdink's had to play the games. He's got extraordinary technique, some really nice random, I don't say random is the right ones, but spurious or spontaneous like striker actions which make him stand out. But hasn't been amazing for AZ, but still scored a few goals in the time he's had in the side.
Yes, he scored an hour ago, actually, against Telstar. Yeah, so we were all hoping to see Meerdink with Oranje. I hope he gets to play some minutes. I doubt he will be a starter, knowing Koeman that he always likes to stick to his lineup. So I think he will be a sub, but hopefully he will get some minutes. The other strikers do deserve to be there. Malin scored 2 goals. Weghorst scored 2 goals. Kluivert scored a goal, although he is an attacking midfielder.
Cody Cappo scored as well this weekend.
Yeah,
and if I may just jump in, Abdul, I watched Daniel Marlin since you mentioned him, and I'm an Aston Villa fan. He scored 2 good goals against Burnley today. At the time of recording, it's a Sunday, and that was because he was playing in a top 2. I always have said when I'm guesting on Villa podcasts, or if talking about Marlin in general, I think he's at his best when he's playing in a front 2, not out on the wing, not as a striker on his own, but where he can be a problem with another striker. He can drop deep and carry the ball forwards. Really good dribbler, really fast, direct. That's where we're going to get the best out of him. But I think the Netherlands, because they don't play 2 strikers, that's why we're not going to see the best out of Daniel Marlin, unfortunately. And most likely he'll play out on the right side if Frimpong's not going to play. I guess against Malta, we won't see Frimpong play on the right wing. But we'll see on that one. We can make our predictions to starting 11 a little later. But yeah, just about Marlin specifically, everyone wants to jump in and just say, I thought it was quality today.
Yes. The 2 goals he scored were really good. Unfortunately, there is no chance we will play 4-4-2. We all know Koeman, he will stick to 4-3-3. If Malin starts, he's going to be a right winger. So I don't know if he's going to start at all, really.
Mm.
The entire squad is pretty much uh, logical. And of course, Hartman was no surprise. We saw how good he was playing this season. He's a regular starter. He was also selected. So I don't see any surprises. I was hoping for Somerville to be selected actually because he's been
Yeah.
doing really well with the West Ham, but unfortunately he wasn't. I was also hoping for De Ligt maybe, not as a starter, but to be selected. Other than that, I think all the players Koeman dropped. I would understand his reasons. Lang is not even playing at all with Napoli. Coop Miners is not a starter. Hatu is a sub. Geertruida is not really getting too many minutes. Stein wasn't really impressive, although he scored today, but he wasn't really impressive in the Europa League. So the squad pretty much makes sense.
And here is a list that's been posted on the Football-Oranje Twitter X page, and it's also on our website, of the players that are involved in the Netherlands squads. Mike posted this the other day. He's not around here today. He'll be back on the live stream after the game on Thursday. Yeah, De Ligt, Stein, Long, Coke Miners, Harto, Brobby, Geertruida, Somerville. Do you think that if Memphis, say, wasn't selected because of his fitness, or Weghorst, for example, if they still were injured, do you think we would have seen Sam Stein still selected?
Maybe. Who knows? And as I heard only an hour ago, that Quinton Timber is injured. He has a
Yeah.
slight injury, so Koeman might select Stein. We might hear him. We might hear the selection of Stein tonight or tomorrow. Stein scored today. Hopefully, this will help him to gain his confidence after the bad performance and the Europa League. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there were some surprise names there. De Ligt as well. Briefing on him. Man United fans are saying like he's been one of their like better players so far this season. I don't know if you've seen De Ligt play much. I know I haven't. Have you heard the same things about him?
Oh, he has been playing so many games for Manchester United. I'm not sure if he's a regular starter, but I do know he played many matches for them. And I'm sorry, I think I did not answer your question when you said if Depay was injured, who would play? Because Stein is an attacking midfielder. You know, I think this will be a dilemma for Koeman. He really depends on Depay. I don't know really what the other option will be.
Let's bring back the squad then. So hopefully you now see it on the screen. We've got the players again that have been called up. So we've still got Memphis and Weghorst there, but Meerdink's been called in because of a lack of fitness of the other two. Weghorst did play, scored 2 goals, wasn't it, against Sparta?
Yes.
One of them was a really nice goal as well. I watched that game.
Yes.
I thought he did okay. He did in the interview afterwards. Kind of puts. I don't know how to call it. I won't say what I think. I think I'll just say what people said on social media. They didn't really enjoy Weghorst's interview after the game. He is always really outspoken. But that aside, you know, he's probably probably the best striker we've got at the moment, other than Memphis. Weghorst just score goals. What can you do, eh? What can you say? But then if either of these guys are lacking fitness, that does suggest Meerdink will play. But I mean, let's talk about starting 11 now for the game. And let's start by talking about the striking options, the forward players. If you expect a 4-3-3 against Malta, you would anticipate that Weghorst starts the game because he is the most fit and selected player that Koeman likes. That might mean that Memphis comes off the bench. And we want to see a Meerdink play. And maybe Memphis, okay, if he's going to get some fitness, get it in the Finland game. Yeah, bit of an odd one, but I can just see Weghorst starting, Memphis coming off the bench, and we don't see a Meerdink. The only other way is if he does surprise us and play 2 strikers at some point during the game, maybe not the entire game. But you'd think against Malta, they're going to have lots of defenders in there, that an ex-striker wouldn't be a bad idea. But we know Koeman's stubbornness and lack of change at times. He did want to play with a 5 at the back, but is now very much a 4-3-3 kind of guy again.
Yes.
Looking at the other players, I hope we don't see Simons in the right wing. I hope we get a player that's going to hold the width. But yeah, what are our options here? Marlon, who we know is not best out on the right wing. Frimpong, who is a bit more defensively minded, but maybe is the best option to start from the right. On the other side, you got Cody Gakpo in the 10. You wouldn't expect Reinders to play there this time because it's Malta. So you want someone like maybe Klauver in there. So there's good options, I suppose, there. Does the rest of the team pick itself, Abdul, after that?
Well, starting from the goalkeeper, if you don't
Go
mind
for
me.
it.
Yeah, I think Koeman will stick to Verbruggen, although I think
Yeah.
Roofs is having an amazing season,
Yeah, he
really.
made some really good saves to Sunderland.
Yes, in my opinion, he should be the second keeper now, not Flecken.
I
Flecken should be
agree.
third. Yeah, as a right back, of course, we all know how important Dumfries is for Oranje. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
Dumfries. The right central defender will probably be Van Hecke. The left central defender will be Van Dijk, and of course the left back will be Van de Ven. I hope he doesn't start with Nathan Ake like what he did against Lithuania. The midfield, Grafenberg, Frankie de Jong, and maybe Kluivert as an attacking midfielder. He's been proving himself in that position with Oranje and with Bournemouth. So I really hope to see him there. I don't want to see Reinders Reinders, Grafenberg, and Frankie together. I still believe they don't perform well when they play together. And the front line, I would say Gakpo, of course, he's always our best option as a left winger. And Weghorst, as you said, yes, I don't think he's going to start with Memphis or Meerdink. Weghorst is ready to play. The right winger, I'm hoping to see Frimpong, really. He's been proving himself in that position, although he is a right back in Liverpool. But I know we can use him and get the best of him as a right winger. Definitely no Simmons, no more Simmons as a right winger.
I'd love to see something that we've seen at like NEC Nijmegen this season and go with a three at the back and like a Van de Ven as a left-sided centre back, Van Dijk in the middle, and maybe even a Dumfries as a right centre back, and then have like Frimpong as right wing back. Cody Gakpo can play as a left wing back. We're gonna have loads of the ball. You can have the ball from deep on the wide touch line. And by the way, this isn't going to happen. I know, but you've got to have some fun with this selection because it's so
Yeah.
predictable picking the starting 11. But can you imagine this? You've got that three. You got the two wing backs. You got Frankie, Gravenberg is that kind of like engine in the middle. And then you can play like a Klauver behind two strikers, and you can have Meerdink and Weghorst. And the game's about scoring loads of goals. This one, so yeah, it's a time to try something like that, or even like Hartman on the left wing back, which he has played before, and having like Gakpo in the middle with someone like Meerdink. But yeah, it's not going to happen. That's a pipe dream, and that sounds really silly. But I hope we get to see some different names in this game because the Finland game is going to be tougher, and we will have to play our strongest 11. But why don't we try 4 or 5 different players? It's going to be a squad game at the World Cup. Give these guys an opportunity.
Yes, and we need to score more goals. We need to secure ourselves completely. We don't want the tragedy of 2018 to happen again. I know we are leading now by 6-goal difference between us and Poland, but we do need to make the difference much bigger than that to be safe. So we will play comfortably the final match against Poland, which I think we should beat them either way. But knowing how inconsistent Oranje is, we need to score as many goals as we can. The formation or the idea you had with 4-4-2 or 3-4-3 is amazing. I think we can be lethal if we play like that. But unfortunately, we all know Koeman will stick to his 4-3-3. Yes.
Really speaking, we could potentially see a different goalkeeper. We could see Roofs playing goal. Maybe we see Jurgen Timber come into defence. We could expect some minutes for Meerdink. I suppose those are the things you could look forward to seeing that are a little bit different. But yeah, largely expecting the same. And it's understandable why you want to gel a team ahead of the World Cup. You don't get many games to prepare. But then what for those other players that aren't going to get many minutes between now and the World Cup? This is the game against Malta to try that. Is it worth spending any time at all talking about the opposition? I still don't know any of the players that play for Malta. And like of all the games that we're going to do this for, like, yeah, it's like we have respect for the opposition, but got to be Malta.
I lost you. Sorry for the last few seconds. Can you repeat what you were saying?
Oh, I was giving you a big analysis about all of Malta's best players.
Oh, I'm really sorry. I don't know anything about the team. With all respect to Malta, but we defeated them 8-0 in Holland. We should not have a problem. Maybe okay, maybe not scoring 8 goals, but winning comfortably. I think we all expect 5 or 6-0 at least in this match, so we should not have any trouble really.
Go on, let's go for a score prediction now, Abdul. We're only about halfway through our show, but I feel like now is about time to get this part out of the way. What are you going for, 5 or 6?
I would go for 5-0.
I'm going to say 3-0, more conservative.
Oh, 3 now.
Yeah. I mean,
I
some of
don't.
the games have been a bit tighter in World Cup qualifying. You've seen England straight past Andorra twice. So it is happening in international football. We should kind of be pleased to be where we are in our group, as critical as we are of the Netherlands.
It does happen sometimes. We defeated Gibraltar 3-0, I remember.
Yeah.
In the Euro qualifiers, we struggled in that match a bit. Okay, it was an easy win, but we struggled to score the 3 goals. Nathan Ake scored 2 goals in that match, I remember. Our attackers did not really perform that well. So, yeah, it could be a difficult match in that term, that we don't score too many goals. And that will make us really frustrated because, I'm sure Oranje fans are not happy with the performance for the last 2 matches.
Yeah. Yeah, we have been a bit critical. Should we talk a bit about that then before we move on to talking about the under-21s next? Criticism on Koeman is going to continue throughout this break. It's gone quiet because we haven't had to talk about international football for the last little while. I mean, after the Malta game, we're not going to have any new opinions on him unless we don't win the game. But then we've got the Finland game coming up afterwards. And yeah, you can just tell that the football won't be fantastic and we still have the same problems as before, despite the fact we have arguably a golden generation here.
Yeah.
Other than the striker.
Except for a striker. Yeah, well, there is no golden striker. Since the retirement of Van Persie, we haven't had a good striker. It's really bad. But we should win again. Luckily, we have many players who can score, not only strikers. For example, Dumfries, he's been scoring many goals for Oranje. So Gakpo has been scoring also many goals for Oranje. So the midfielders can score. This is what we're counting on, actually. If I may go back to the selection, to the players they were dropped, Michael, is it okay? I was hoping to see Botman actually instead of Nathan Ake or De Vrij. De Vrij is gonna be 34 or 35 next year. Botman, I think he deserves a call. He's been playing lately with the Newcastle, and Danjuma could be an option also for a striker. He scored a goal his last match. Maybe he deserves a try as well,
Another player as well, having watched Villa, I mentioned him once, twice before, not that seriously, but now I'm thinking more seriously about Lamar Bagada. Having watched him play now, in the past 3 games for Villa, he has played all 3. His pass completion has been, it was 100% in one game, 100% in the game against Feyenoord, and then 96% today against Burnley. The guy's not losing the ball. And he's been a really solid player in that midfield for Villa. Not necessarily, he sometimes will drop into a back 5, so he's more of a protective player. He's not really an attacking player. He hasn't shown much in that way, but he keeps the ball really well, and it's bouncing around all the time. And he's just so composed. Has good defensive abilities. We have good midfielders, but I'm actually genuinely starting to think about him now as an option. He maybe overtakes the likes of Joey Veerman as that deeper midfielder now. He is that good. At the moment, he's just on the start of what could be a really exciting trajectory throughout this season, that he now becomes a starting player for Aston Villa, and a starting player for Aston Villa who's Dutch probably is going to get into the international team.
Nice. Yeah.
Agreed. We'll keep an eye on him, eh? Let's talk about the under-21s next then, since we talked about the Netherlands here. I think that's enough of a preview about a Malta game that we're expecting to win, but we will, of course, do live streams after the Malta game and the Finland game. I expect the one against Finland will be a bit longer than the one against Malta, since it's quite a late kickoff for the one against Malta. But anyway, yeah, that's enough about that. Under 21s, I'm going to pull up an article that Mike put on the Football-Oranje website, and it talks about the squads. I've also got the graphic on there that has the player selection. So that the main sort of headline is Michael Reisiger, the under-21s coach, has named 5 debutants in the squad. But they had a poor start, didn't they, the under-21s? But players have been called up: Jaden Adai, Eamon Sleety, Javira Reed, Sander Hunt, and Bert Klaverboer. De Ronde is a surprise fullback option from the Belgian second division. Anyway, let's bring up the squad, which you may be able to see on screen now. Is that there, Abdul?
Yeah, I see it.
Bernard is in this squad here, so of course it's a little bit of a stepping stone for him, isn't it, using the 21s. Case Smith is in there again, and a really exciting player to watch. He's back to full fitness. Got again for RZ today. Anyone we want to pick out from this 21 squad?
Not really. I'm just happy to see some names. Poco, for example, if he continues scoring with Bayer Leverkusen, he might be selected for Oranje for the national team. You know. The only player I'm not sure about is Milambo. He's not playing at all with Brentford, so I'm not really sure if this is a good idea to select him. You know, I hope this is not because of lacking of options. You know, so. Other than that, Reed, of course, I'm really happy to see Reed. I've been a fan for this of this player for a long time. Eamon Sleety is also an amazing player. I think he will be in the national team in the near future. So I don't think I will drop any player. I don't know about you though.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to drop Milambo. I think in the 21 squad, you can sometimes have players that aren't playing a terrible amount for their team. Because they still have that potential, they still have that ability. Milambo is one of those players. Of course, I still think he made the wrong move by going to Brentford this summer. But other than that, you've got the loads of RZ Alkmaar players again. And you watched them stay, didn't you, Abdul, against Telstar? I watched second half. What have you made about RZ lately? They had a dramatically bad defeat in the week in the Conference League. But won again today after a few games that win.
I still believe the problem is the coach Martin. Even if you have a red card in the second minute of the match, a team from Cyprus should not really beat you 4-0. I think AZ was over defending the entire match. They were trying to defend for 90 minutes and then maybe miraculously score a goal, and obviously this did not work. So I would blame the coach. The team has so many good players. The results should be much better than that, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But in terms of that squad with the RZ players in there, the players themselves have got that raw ability. They are exciting to watch develop this season. That's why I quite enjoy watching RZ whenever I can, really. With Martin Martins, you are right. He does seem to be holding back the potential that's in that squad. Such a shame because they have actually quite a good squad. It's not the biggest one, but lots of ability in there. And coming back against the under-21s, just listing some players here. I mean, Owusu Aduro in goal. He's getting better with every game that he's experiencing. Such a young goalie. Rosangelo Dahl, who's playing the left wing a lot of the time. He's looked so fatigued lately because he's played so many games that left side. But he's getting better now, getting more end product assists and goals, as well as the dribbles that he can do. Case Smith, we talked about loads, but a really energetic midfielder that is so creative. If he's not getting the assists, he's getting the pre-assists, isn't he, Smith? A couple of players as well that have moved on from RZ, like Ernest Poku. Who else is there that plays for RZ? Wouter Hoos, the centre-back, who's, again, been getting better this season. His attitude has been a problem, hasn't it? But has been better lately. Anyone you want to pick out there from the RZ players?
Well, definitely, it's not the time for Hoos to be in the national team. I don't want to say it's a discipline problem, but he has been making so many problems with his team. I don't want to get a red card because of him. So maybe it's still too early for him to be selected. Plus, we do have so many defenders now, you know. Koeman already dropped at least 4 or 5 good defenders. So yeah,
he's got a lot of development still to do. And I do want to bring this up because it is important with that controversy that's gone around Wouter Hus. Things swirling around the internet, and I'm not saying I agree with them, by the way, at all, but I just want to bring it to the surface about Hus. People criticizing him for his temper, for his attitude, suggesting that he's potentially autistic, saying that perhaps is gay, as an example of things I've seen and heard about him because of all the physical contact he's doing during games. It's way too much. Yes, it is a bit too much. It is his style of play, but just want to get your opinion on that, Abdul, because some of the things that people say about him and spout, it's not the kind of thing you should be saying about someone online. I just didn't think it was appropriate.
Rumors could be said about any player, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just rumors, but we all know his bad temper in all matches. And this is a big problem, really. The management has to work this with him to find a way out of this, really. Is it because he's autistic? I don't know, really. He didn't look he didn't look like an autistic guy to me. Other reasons, of course, you can name all the reasons because I do read all these things in the social media as well. I don't think this is the problem. Some players are just too how do I say this? Too reckless, when they play, and maybe this is him. His mood. He has a temper problem, and I think he will get over it within the years. Maybe in a year or two. The older you get, the more mature you will get.
Yeah, he is a very young player. And that is a long time for a player to still develop. And think of all the Dutch internationals that have come from RZ at centre back as well, or players that have gone on to have a fantastic career. Like Sam Burkema, for example, doing really well in Italy. Like he's not being called up to the international team either.
Who?
And
Sorry?
like Sam Burkema.
Oh.
Gosh,
Okay,
who does he play for? Is it Napoli now? I need to just quickly Google that. Yeah,
I'm not
Napoli.
following. I think so. Yeah, but I don't know if he's a starter though.
Still, I mean, that guy's forged a great career for himself, given that he wasn't a brilliant centre back at RZ. He was just young and has gone on to develop over the years, maturing and becoming a better player. I mean, Stefan de Vrij didn't play for RZ, but is another really good example of what I'm talking about here.
Yeah. Just too many good defenders. You don't know who to select.
Too many good defenders, really. Yeah. And if we had the same problem at centre back as we did as a striker, like Burkema would be a starting centre back. So, yeah.
I wish we had that problem, in the front line. Yeah, the options are pretty much limited, except for the left winger. We have some good left wingers. Gakpo, of course, Van Bommel, although he's injured. Noah Lang, I know he's not playing, but he is an option as a left winger. While we don't really have too many options for right wingers or strikers.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact we're still calling up Daniel Marlin, who, again, I said, did well today as a striker, but playing him on the right wing where he's not had a good game for Villa so far at all on the right wing.
Yes.
Yes. Curious, isn't it, that we've just got this lack of options at the moment. I mean, who's the alternative? Steven Berghuis?
No, thanks. Well,
I mean, he's the only one that's... I was just thinking about the Eredivisie. Like we aren't doing an Eredivisie show today, but we've been doing weekly shows, and a lot of them have been on the Eredivisie. Is there anyone that's been standing out to you in the league that is Dutch that you think's worth at least mentioning to go, yeah, that guy? I mean, let's not talk about Zekiel again because we keep talking about him, of course, the Utrecht midfielder, but anybody else?
Not AZ, maybe Ofkir. I think Ofkir is good. He was really good in the Euros for young Oranje. Maybe he will be called for the national team someday. I think, this player is not really, we haven't been talking about him much, but I think he's really good. Yes.
Good one. I'm just thinking about some other options. I mean, Blockstyle at Groningen, the really young centre-back that could develop to be an exciting player in the future if he gets moves like to RZ or Feyenoord or something like that.
Yeah, but he's a centre back again, Michael. That's the problem.
Another centre back. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
I can see why you picked Ufkir because he is exciting and plays in the wing, but nowhere near the national team yet. So that's a shame.
Yes.
I feel like I'm running out of options here, thinking about the Eredivisie players. I'm just looking at all the teams, thinking who's been standing out for them, and I feel like I'm missing somebody obvious.
Zichel is a good player for Utrecht.
Yeah, like I
I
said,
think
we don't want to talk about him again because we keep talking about him. But he is a good option.
he's a good option. Yes. To be honest, I think he's better than Veerman as a midfielder. I
How
know he's.
about wow? That is quite the statement there. I think I disagree with that because they're just different midfielders. Like Veerman's way more creative.
I was about to say that. Yeah, he's an attacking midfielder,
Yeah.
but Veerman is. Yeah, I know. Yes, yes.
Other than that, you're talking about someone like Ringo Meerveld that's playing for Heerenveen. Signed from Villeneuve, who got relegated last season, but he's a creative midfield like a 10. He would have to really step up his game, like development wise, but for me, stands out. And Joe Veerman was like, I think, a similar age when he played for Heerenveen, and obviously then went to PSV, became a national team player, not in the reckoning at the moment, of course. Just check on how old he is, actually. Just check again. 22. So, yeah, I don't think it's likely, though, but I just thought I'd pick him out.
See, the problem is we know that Koeman is not the kind of coach who discovers players, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's kind of depressing. So no matter how many good players we mention, good talents we mention, it's very unlikely for Koeman to look to look at them, or even think of them. You know, that's the problem. Yes.
And then looking at others, you have got a striker that is scoring goals in the Eredivisie that is Dutch. How many goals has he got to his name? I can give you a clue to who I'm thinking about. Oh, there is another one too, Dylan Venter at Heerenveen, but I'm not thinking about him. I'll give you a clue, Abdul. He scored 2 goals in the week.
It's just too many names. I cannot remember. Okay, in what match?
In a European game.
Oh, in a European game. 2 matches in a European game. I cannot really remember.
22 years old, Dutch striker.
Okay, help me more with what team?
Oh, guys, I'll just give it away then, though, wouldn't I? Scored 2 goals away from home on a Thursday night. Just gone. In a very special victory for his team. People are screaming at their laptop and phone screens right now on YouTube going, it's this guy.
Was it Champions League or what? Or Europa
League?
Europa League, and he scored 2 goals. To be honest,
you watched the game. You loved it.
Oh, you mean Smith?
Milan Smith.
Oh yeah, okay. yes. Yeah, well, Smith. But
and by the way, I've got a smile on my face because I know this isn't a serious option.
Yeah.
But 22 years old, 6'3", scored. I think how many goals this season so far? I think it's 4 or 5 now this season. 5 goals in 9 games. I'm not saying it's a nailed-on choice, and definitely not for this World Cup.
Yeah,
but come on, man! If this guy starts scoring goals for the Go Ahead Eagles, scores in Europe, he gets a nice move. He was going to go to Blackburn Rovers in the summer, but didn't. You know,
he could be selected to the World Cup only under one condition: if he scores many goals in the Europa League and leads Go Ahead Eagles to maybe the quarterfinal. But I don't think this will be
ridiculous.
The case, you know?
Yeah, it won't be for this summer. The guy would have. I mean, and this is why this is fun, because you can look at players and think they have that potential. This player could do something. And I don't know about Milan Smith, but I'm just putting it out there because if he ever selected, you want to be like, we said it here first. But Joe Veerman was another one. Like, I'm pretty sure if you, and no one's going to do this, like you go and check out the old Football-Oranje podcast. We did talk about him when he was at Heerenveen, and it might have been Mike rather than me, but he did pick him out and say he was a really good midfielder and said like he would do really well if, gets a move and this, that, and the other. And we haven't been too far wrong. Like the guy has played in a national team. He's played in a major tournament for the Netherlands. He just didn't continue that development that was there for him.
I doubt we will have any new names for defenders or midfielders. We just have too many midfielders and defenders. The problem is all up front. I remember in 2018, the Brazilian coach, he chose a player who played in China. Many people criticized him for this, but this player scored against Belgium in the quarterfinal, the only goal in the match. So sometimes a coach needs to make a brave decision, and this is what Koeman lacks, unfortunately. I wish he could surprise us someday and pick Smith, for example, even if
Yeah.
he's not good. Let us see that he is really looking for new talents. This is what we're missing with Oranje.
Yeah. Well, let's about Milan Smith, but I do want to touch upon the Eredivisie before we finish, because there'll be listeners here that love our Eredivisie shows, and thank you everyone for the feedback we've had on those. We can see that, of course, on Football-Oranje, the national team will still be what brings in the greatest interest, but where we can, we will still do Eredivisie shows because we want to be that English language source of the Eredivisie, and we will still put out those shows for those absolute, as the Dutch people say, liefhebbers, people that love the league, passionate about it. So just to touch upon some of the games that have happened this weekend, I watched Sparta 3, Ajax 3, and it was a surprise result. I really enjoyed the game. Sparta went 3-1 up against Ajax, and it was 2 late goals that saved them. I think, and talking about head coaches here, right? Johnny Heitinger, I put a post out on social media and was like, Heitinger out, basically. And it's a bit weird when you look at it, because you can look at it two ways, because they've had so many draws so far. That they've only had 2 clean sheets in the 10 games they've played in all competitions. But equally, they're unbeaten in the league. And you're not going to sack a coach, are you, if they're unbeaten in the league after 8 games? But 4 draws all away from home. They haven't won a game away from home this season. Both defeats in the Champions League. They have been to Inter Milan and Marseille, but come on, got to at least get a point or a win from one of those 2 games if you're going to be serious about the Champions League. And Ajax should be finishing in that top 24. We know that they won't because of the way that they are coached this season. Some player quality is missing. But I just watched that game and thought the players had the fight and they kind of saved Heitinger's job. I just think if they had lost that game, that would have been it for him. But maybe they'll use international break. They could still make a decision on him. I want to see him go. I don't think it's going to end well. I can't see him turning it around. They've got RZ, Chelsea, and Twente after the international break. I don't think they'll win any of those 3 games. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm saying. I'm going to make my mark and say that's what's going to happen.
Ajax has been struggling big time. Even in the league, they conceded 10 goals out of 8 matches, and this is too much.
Yeah.
Drawing 4 matches out of 8 is just like losing for Ajax. It's not good results at all. And now they are 6 points behind Feyenoord and 3 points behind PSV. To be honest, I don't think it's Heitinger's fault. I mean, the team is just not good, I don't remember when the last time I saw Ajax depending on all the players. Berghuis, Klaassen, Weghorst, although he did score 2 goals for the team, but the players are just too old, and the quality is not really good enough to compete in the Champions League, not even in the league itself, and we can see that.
Do you blame Heitinger then? And would you just keep him in a job because of what you've just said? The player quality isn't good enough, so why should you be sacked? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know really if there is a pressure from the management to renew the contracts for some players like Berghuis and Klaassen, for example. I'm not really sure. And I'm still, by the way, against bringing Dolberg back. They just keep recycling all the players. They just need to blow this team and build a whole new team again.
I do want to push you on that Heitinger comment, though. Like, are you Heitinger in or Heitinger out?
No, I think he should stay, really. I don't think he's a bad coach. Yeah. The results he's been having, considering the circumstances and the quality of players he has, I think that the results are acceptable. Inter Milan, of course, we know how strong this team is. Marseille has been having a very good season. They are second, I think, in the table now in the French league. Still losing 4-0 is bad, but I still believe Ajax can get some points from the Champions League.
Okay, interesting. I'll read out some other results this weekend, and then Abdul, if you want to talk about a particular game, let me know, given this isn't a full Eredivisie show. But Nat Breda won, FC Groningen 2. Groningen continue their rise up the Eredivisie table. Fortuna Sittard 1, Volendam 0. Everyone seems to always have their worst game when they play Fortuna Sittard because of the way Fortuna play, so conservative and defensive, but it's getting them results. Pek Zwolle 0, PSV 4. A really easy win for PSV.
Very easy, yes.
Heerenveen 2, Excelsior 1. Heerenveen with 2 late goals to turn it round. FC Twente beat Heracles in the derby 2-1. Final 3, Utrecht 2 was probably game of the weekend. I did watch that one though. And AZ 2, Telstar 1. I'm about to watch Go Ahead Eagles against NEC. Don't know what the score is in that yet. But when this is out, probably would have finished. Do you want to talk about any of those games, Abdul? Maybe the final game?
I will talk first about Telstar against AZ.
Yeah,
AZ did win this match, but Telstar gave them a very hard time.
they did.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see a team struggling like this. If you remember the beginning of the season, we all expected Telstar to drop down the bottom of the table from the first match, but now you see them having 7 points, and the team has a very good chance to stay in the league if they continue this fighting spirit. Feyenoord and Utrecht, that was an amazing match. It could have gone either way, you know. I kind of felt sorry for Ronians because I think Utrecht played a very good match. They deserved a point at least, to be honest. But after all, Utrecht knew how to win, how to gain the 3 points. Feyenoord. Feyenoord did also play a good match. Yeah, I have nothing more to add, actually. Twente is back on track, finally. I think this is the third win in a row, if I'm not mistaken. The team suddenly from the 17th position to the 6th position. I'm glad the team is working well with the new coach. Yep.
Well, on that note, maybe that's a great summary of the Eredivisie. And when we next do our next Eredivisie show, we'll make it a longer one and we'll make it all about the league again. I hope everyone enjoyed this. And if they did, please do give it a like. Support Football-Oranje. Get yourself a scarf. If you haven't got yourself a scarf already, there's a link still for that in the YouTube description. Abdul's got his behind him. I've got one here. They've been on display in the background of this podcast again on YouTube to get yourself one. Support Football-Oranje. Get yourself one ahead of the World Cup as well. Beautiful new scarf, deliverable anywhere in the world.
Yep. You brought it to me to Kuwait, so thank you.
Exactly. If you can get it to Kuwait, you can go anywhere.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Abdul. Thank you everyone for listening. And more on the Football-Oranje website and social media pages. See everyone after the Malta game. We'll see you live after that. Bye.
Bye.